as a master, you sailed. And then how did you reach this position where you are right now as the managing director of one of the biggest companies in the world? How did you switch over and reach here? Like, see, as a young junior officer, and I think many of my audience are still youngsters aspiring to be seafarers, or perhaps my friends only watching me, which they do watch and give me a lot of galis, but it's okay. So, how do we, we are inspired by you, but how do we get a guidance of reaching to the position where you have worked yourself to?
So I think the first thing is to do your homework and to have a plan. Have a, this is my goal, this is my North Star, this is my guiding light, this is what I want to do. And then don't start off with whichever step that comes across your way. Mm-hmm. And this was never my goal, but this is what things led to. I started my career doing safety and nautical, as an assurance career ashore, as an assurance superintendent. And I used to look at, crewing as, like the HR as like the dirty part of the job, dealing with people's complaints and all that. It took me a long time to realize that, the people part is where, we spend the most amount of our money. Almost 67% of our running cost for a ship is spent on crew.
Yeah.
And also this is the area that you can make the most impact.
Right.
And that is what gives me satisfaction, is that I can, help people. I can make an impact in their lives.
Right. Sir.
So it took me a long time to understand that. So that was my journey. There are some people who come ashore and, they work for a year or something, and then they realize that this is not the career for me. I like sailing, and they go back sailing. So I think that's also, this is not that this is better than that, but it depends on, what you want in life. What is your ambitions to grow? What is your, having unlimited ambition is not the only way to live life. You also need to be content with where you are and what you're doing. So I think, like with a lot of seafarers, it's ki shore job chahiye.
हाँ, yes sir.
Definitely.
कुछ भी मिल जाए.
हाँ, कुछ
भी दे दो, मुझे नहीं जाना. Yeah, really.
So I think that's where, you have to, also seafarers, being at sea for so long, they're not well versed with how to apply for a job, how to give an interview, how to, what kind of a job to apply for.
Right.
So I think that homework is really important, and to understand what is it that you want. If you go to any manager or you come to me and say, give me a shore job, it's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work like that. You have to see what is it that you are good at, what is it that you are interested in, and what is it that you're willing to do, and then look for a role that suits you. Try to train yourself for that role. So that could be, an additional education. That could be your, license. It could be some training that gives you an advantage, or gives you puts you in a position where you'd be most suited for that role.
Right, sir. So just a practical advice I wanted to ask from you. What kind of qualification post, suppose a junior, second mate, what do you think works right now? Being at that position right now, you must be seeing job applications. What stands out? What stands out for you that this guy can be called for an interview? Any particular degree, or is it like some kind of work ex? But we don't have work ex except for sailing. So right. So it's a catch-22 situation. The company wants work ex. How can we get work ex when we have no opportunities as yet, which we have had an awareness about?
Right.
So what all qualifications did you pursue?
So I think it's not purely about qualification. So it's about, what I give advice is, when you're coming for a job interview, make a case that the person cannot refuse. So come in strong, as in, why are you the best person for this role? And that means that in your off period also, don't spend all your time traveling, although spend some of it.
Yes.
But use that time to develop yourself, do some trainings. I mean, now there's a plethora of online courses, trainings available, whether it's a MBA or something else. Train yourself in AI. Give yourself an advantage.
Got it.
If you want to pursue in the technical field, go and teach at some colleges,
Right.
at some maritime institutes. Get an internship somewhere, or try to talk to people, build your network.
So how do we build network? This is some question which all seafarers need to know and want to know. How do you build network? How did you do it?
So building network is not
Yes.
rocket science.
Yeah.
It is about, you sail with the captain, you keep in touch with him. You meet him for coffee once,
Right.
And then, from him, you tell him, this is what I want to do. Maybe he will know someone else, maybe he will not know someone else. But the idea is not I'm going to contact him only to get a job. And if he can't get me a job, then I will not be in touch with him.
Wonderfully put.
The idea is, you build your network, and somewhere something will connect this thing. And that's how I got my first job ashore, is because we had a fleet superintendent who came on board. We really connected. I stayed in touch. 2 years later, when he was in charge of the Nautical department, setting up the Nautical department for this new establishment,
Right.
he gave me a call. So it was, network is, I think,
It's underrated, I guess.
It's highly important.
It's highly, yeah.
If I'm looking for a position to fill up,
Yeah.
and someone who I trust comes to me and saying, this person, I know this person is really good, select him, like with the reference, basically. That makes me, 10 times more likely to hire that person as opposed to someone else. Because in an interview, you're doing an interview for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour.
Right.
You can only gauge so much, which is their communication skills. You don't know their attitude towards work. You don't know their technical knowledge. So, but if somebody says, no, I've worked with this person before, I know this person for a long time,
Right.
This person is really good, that is an instant advantage. Because when you're interviewing someone, you're basically gambling. You don't know how they're going to turn out.
Absolutely. So, like a takeaway for me was build a good network. In your off time, gather skills, or perhaps request for an internship. Put yourself out there.
Yeah,
right.
And it could be not necessarily a technical internship at a ship management, but
Right.
You could do some charity work.
Right.
But add more, credentials
Right.
to your personality. So it's not that. What did you do in your leave period?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
Have something to show for that.
Absolutely.
And, even when you're on board now with the internet connections on board with
Right.
Starlink there now,
Yeah.
you can do any kind of program. So
Absolutely.
basically, when seafarers are looking, you have to do something that makes you stand out
Right.
from the others.
rest.
And that could be an MBA, but an MBA alone is not the only thing that will get you
sir.
ahead.
So any qualifications, particularly in suppose the domain you are in, are you looking at like people ask for answers like, okay, you told this. Now tell me if there is a qualification which I need to pursue. It's a very valid question. I agree because there is so much out there. There's so many different types of MBA also, if I'm not wrong. So anything which suppose somebody wants to step into the office, particularly suppose in your company. What kind of a qualification will help?
And this is where I was saying that
Yes.
what is it that you're interested in?
Right.
If you just say, I want to step in the office,
Right. Okay.
then that's very wide. But if you want to be in the HR field,
Right.
then a qualification in HR will give you, it shows your interest. It
Right.
shows that, okay, this person is willing to go the extra mile
Right, sir.
to get this job. It's not that, I'm a seafarer, I have this
Yeah.
much experience, please hire me.
Right.
It's not that, but it is showing that you have taken the effort. You are really keen on this, and this is what I bring to the table.
Right.
If you want to be in, let's say, the commercial part of the business, or something which is more forward-looking, something decarbonization or something,
Right.
then that's what you need to be
Right, sir.
qualified in. But I think the main key thing is to come in with a vision. Have a plan, and doesn't mean that that plan works out. It could be that you wanted to join the HR part, but there was no position available over there at that point.
Right, sir.
But that gives you, that makes you visible, and that's the other key thing. One is network, one is visibility. So make it a point that whenever you can to, if you want to come to your company's office,
Right.
come to the office. Visit people, ask them for their time, tell them,
Yep.
no agenda. I just want to understand the business a little bit more. Can I get 1 hour of your time? Meet 3-4 senior managers over there. And, trust me, that will give you results 5 times quicker than, just writing an email. Please find my CV. I'm looking for a
I'm
job.
going to tell you, my friends had requested me to put this question to you, and I'm very sure now they got their answers. I'm very 100% sure.